For you as an entrepreneur, what does the post-Sindoor landscape look like?
So if I talk about numbers, so whatever we projected for this year, in the first 2 months of the financial year, we could already achieve it. Ammunic system weaponizes all of the systems. Like, you must be hearing this term loiter munition these days. So what happens is, we weaponize a drone. So the attachment, the bomb attachment which goes inside, that's where we get into picture. When I used to enter some of the boardrooms and you know, they used to wait, okay, that somebody else might be coming. So I used to say, okay, we can start the meeting. They said, okay,
right.
Is your male co-founder joining? I said, okay, having co-founder is perfectly fine, but why is it like a male co-founder is required? You know, specifically there can be 2 female co-founders, there can be 1 female co-founder. Small wins in defense actually compound faster than big promises. I read
Wow, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Meet India's Defencepreneurs. I am your host Adit Charlie, and I bring to you stories of men and women who are making Atmanirbhar Bharat a reality in India's defense sector. My guest today is Priyanka Singhal, CEO and founder Ammunic Systems. Priyanka, thank you so much for braving Bengaluru's traffic and joining us at the studio today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Adit. Thank you. It's an honor to be here and sharing my thoughts on this platform.
I'm going to start off by asking you a little bit about your journey per se. Ammunic Systems as a company has been registered since 2019, but
Correct.
You've been in active operations in the last couple of years. A cursory look at your website tells me that you are into, and this is where it gets tricky for me, you are into things like ammunition integration systems,
Correct.
You are into things like loitering munitions.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the scope of work and why did you choose defense tech as your port of calling?
So, okay, Ammunic was more born out of purpose than a business plan. So when during my internship at DRDO, so you know, I was very fascinated with explosive integration technologies and you know how we blast an explosive in layman's language. So how does this work? So it was very fascinating, and to see my first explosion live at the DRDO was very mesmerizing. You don't get to see everyday such sites. So yes, that's what gave me a sense of purpose that we have to do something like that. What was a pivotal moment for Ammunic, how it was born, that India was very heavily relying on imported systems for defense. So if you cannot safeguard your own house, you know, and you need to rely on your neighbors, it's never a good point, you know.
Right.
So for that, that is how the Ammunic was born, out of that conviction that we need to have defense ecosystem with indigenous homegrown equipments for the defense. So that's how it came into picture, and now we cater to all the 3 land fares, like warfares, like land, naval and the aerial.
So I'm going to take you to the beginning of your journey. When you walked through the doors of DRDO, you were one of, I would imagine, thousands of applicants for that DRDO coveted internship.
Correct.
What really was going through your mind while you were applying, and you know, when you got through finally, how did that change your approach to defense and solutioning for defense in a big way?
Okay, so it was a very funny story actually. So I always had in mind that I'm going to prepare for UPSC after my college. So I'd already started my last year preparing for it. But you know, all of a sudden someone challenged, one of the peer challenged me that you know, we were just talking, that everyone was talking as a peer to peer that where are you going to apply for the internship and all. So someone was saying Airtel, BSNL, my dad got me here, something like that. And I said, okay, fine, I'm not really looking into internship from that perspective because my goal is something else. But then they said, it's not about goal, it's about you cannot get into the DRDO, you know, these are out of our league.
So it started off as a challenge in some
You can
sense.
say that, yeah. Not in a negative sense, but yes. So I thought, okay, let's just apply for it. You know, I really wanted to see what DRDO is, like, you know, and how the whole process goes through of interviewing something. So I just silently applied for it and got through the interview, and then I was all over the cloud that, okay, yes, I could do something like that. And that's how this DRDO thing started.
Right.
It was never into the perfect picture plan before.
Yeah.
But then yes, after DRDO also I actually went for my UPSC preparation back because that was just for the time being. So first I thought, I need to be a policy maker.
Okay.
For defense. I was always intrigued for defense, but I wanted to be a policy maker first. But then I don't know how the stars aligned, and this is how where we are.
As the great Steve Jobs once said, you kind of connect the dots when you look back.
Correct.
And a lot of choices that you make don't make sense at that point in time.
Exactly.
But when you look back after a few years, you feel like it was kind of part of a larger plan.
Part of
in some
100%.
sense. Help us demystify what exactly Ammunic does as a company. We were talking off air and you did mention that the core USP is basically weaponizing some of our defense systems. So walk us through the product line and where does Ammunic basically do the value add?
Okay. So in layman's language, I'll make it simpler for everyone to understand. So basically, Ammunic system weaponizes all of the systems. Like you must be hearing this term loiter munition these days after Operation Sindoor quite a lot. So what happens is we weaponize a drone. So the bomb attachment which goes inside, that's where we get into picture. So we basically make all the systems, like basically the brain of the bombs, fuses, that actually tells explosive when to initiate.
Understood.
Right, be it an impact base or if the user wants, after this much time it should be initiated, or it should be initiated from this much height, whatever the specifications and the customizations are required. So we basically make fuses in general, basically explosive integration technologies, munition integration technologies, that how the brain will give the signal to the explosive to explode at the moment.
Understood. Got it. And yeah, these are some of the buzzwords that have become part of the regular parlance ever since Sindoor. Loitering ammunition, loitering munition, and you also have things like smart fuses. Explain what smart fuses are and how they are important to our entire defense architecture.
So advanced electronic fuses are like basically the brain of the bomb. Earlier it used to be just simple timer, like okay, there's a timer clock going on inside and the bomb will initiate, or like you've seen grenades, they'll throw it on impact, it will just blast. Right now they are smart chips basically, so you can tell them when to initiate. They can maneuver during some awkward situation, because in operational situations you don't know how the situation is going to be. It's not like a missile. Like in loiter munition, we very rightly compare that missile, once you lock the target, it will go off.
Right.
But in loiter munition, it can wait and watch in the sky like a hawk. It can hover there, and once the user locks the target, then it dives in and explodes the target. So similarly, the electronic fuses, they basically are the brain, and we tell them that when to do what. Okay, first you need to wait for this much time, then you need to wait for the impact, then you need to wait if the user wants a particular height of burst, because it's a very densely forested area.
So they can just interject here. When Priyanka says user, it's not an individual user, it's actually our triforces.
Yes, it's the Indian Army, basically armed forces.
Recently Ammunic Systems raised $1.1 million in funding, and tell me a little bit about the timing of this, because we know that in the last couple of months, post Operation Sindoor, defense MSME space, defense tech in general, is getting a lot of investor attention. It's getting the attention of media, people at large.
Everyone.
So tell us a little bit about the fundraising plan and where are you going to be deploying these monies?
Okay. So raising fund was a really important milestone in Ammunic Systems journey. So we had some offers before also, even before Sindoor, but that time we were not actively looking. But that was one tough point where I had to make a decision that should I be raising the fund, or should I be first focusing on my product and the trials, because you need to go single-handedly at one place. So of course on paper fundraising looked more preferential, but then we chose to pause the fundraising and go for the product and field trials, and making the credibility with the Indian Army first. And that eventually actually helped us, because later now fundraising seemed really easier because we had product and orders more than just promises. So yes, that really helped us. And if I talk about the deployment, so we are allocating the capital really thoughtfully. As I will say that talent is a real multiplier in our defense tech field. So a major chunk will go into the team expansion, R&D and the core engineering team, and of course the machinery, and we have to make the production setup for it. So yes, we'll be looking at scaling R&D with the right mindset.
Interesting. As a sole founder, could you tell us about important decision that you had to make in the recent past? We were speaking off air, and you did mention that as a company you are getting some emergency orders.
Correct.
I don't want to go too much into detail, but to my mind, strategy at the boardroom level is not just about what you do, but what you take a call of not doing, right? So strategy is not just a bunch of things that you pick up for doing, but it's also about the kind of things that you consciously, intentionally stay away from.
Correct.
So with that background, could you tell us about one recent decision that you had to take, and what were the trade-offs that you had to factor?
Okay, I think I already mentioned that there was in the past, like some months back, before this Operation Sindoor and all of this emergency procurement came into picture, we were getting quite a good of opportunities to for the fundraising. But that time I was very busy with the product trials and getting that gain and credibility of the user to understand our products and do the field trials here and there. So that is when I had to really decide as a founder that what should I really be doing, because if once you start the fundraising process, it usually takes 7 to 8 months at least.
And generally in companies with multiple founders, one founder looks at fundraising as a full-time exercise.
Correct. So in that perspective, I had to really take a decision that where my focus should be right now. But then eventually I was I actually took a decision that okay, fine, let's just go with for now the product credibility and the user trials, and this opportunity will hopefully be there once if our product gets proven, right? So that is one tough decision I had to make in the past, and ironically it really proved fruitful for us that fundraising became very easier for us, and we had orders and proof more than just promises. So yes, even though it stretched us thin quite a lot taking that decision, but yes, because the technology is very capital intensive and especially trials, you have to go to this command, you have to go to that command, keep showcasing your products and everywhere. So yes, that does stretch you thin, but everything fell in place.
Yeah, got it. You talked about credibility, and I want to draw your attention to one of your recent LinkedIn posts, where in one of the pointers you did mention that the government actually buys trust before technology, which I found fascinating. Talk us through, the thinking behind this.
Okay. So when I say government buys trust before the technology, so that is in the two sense. First, they need to trust you to be in, right? Because they will not just buy. Your technology can be as great as possible, but they will not, it will not get through till the time they trust you. They trust your credibility and the reliability of the product. Like you have to really deliver under pressure, because that requires. And on the other hand, your product also needs to be reliable to that extent that it does not matter how good the product looks, but it really matters when your product is performing in the heat of the operation, in the dark of the night, and in every toughest situation in the battlefield.
The margin for error is next to nothing.
It will cost a life. So yes.
Priyanka, tell me something from your vantage point. What has really changed in India's defense procurement ecosystem, if you will? I've been a journalist for 17 years, and in the first part of my career, whenever I used to talk to companies that are solving for defense, especially tech companies, they would say that opportunity is huge, but procurement cycles are long. There is an overemphasis on being the lowest bidder. Bureaucracy is a big part of the process. But now I see, and this is not just post Sindoor, but even before that, a lot of young entrepreneurs like yourself are getting into defense tech in a big way. So what has really changed, and what do you make of the current policy environment? Is it enabling, not enabling?
So I earlier also mentioned somewhere that this is the most policy enabling environment for the MSMEs, especially the defense MSMEs in the past decade.
Right.
So why I would say that most of the schemes which government is trying to bring, they are very transformational. You can talk about Make 2 projects, or you can talk about the PIL list, or you can talk about the IDEX reforms. So they have really lowered the entry barriers for MSMEs, having great ideas, but earlier they had some kind of a restriction of a turnover maybe, or some kind of a purchase order earlier, because when you used to bid before that, so you need to have a particular kind of a turnover for it, or this much years of experience.
So the entry barriers are not as stringent as the ones used to be.
Not at all. So we just recently bid for one of the tenders which we never even thought about, that this is such a big amount and we can just do it. Whenever we'll get it, we'll let you know.
Sure.
So so of course MSMEs are now, there's a great mindset change. They are being looked upon as a strategic partners more than just the vendors, and which is required. If we want to get into that chain of being the biggest exporter, we need to see MSMEs as a team partner, as a strategic partner, not just the vendors.
Definitely.
And where we are lacking here is that MSMEs, India's manufacturing production is still licensed production. Like we are still building the Russian aircrafts, or the assembling the French naval. So we need to have our own IPs. We need to have our own sensors. We need to set up manufacturing units for our own homegrown sensor chips. Government has really started a semiconductor mission also, which is gonna be really transformational and great. So yes, we are going ahead with a very fast speed, and we'll hope to see the change soon.
Interesting. You talked about manufacturing. How much of manufacturing does Ammunic as a company do right now, and what is the outlook on indigenous manufacturing going forward?
So the question as in how much manufacturing means how much local content you are asking? Or how
in
much?
general, like is your play more of a system integration kind of play?
No, so we basically make the systems from the scratch, and then it goes into mass manufacturing.
Understood.
So from the scratch to the product itself, everything is done at the Ammunic Systems.
Understood.
Yeah. So there's everything.
And do you work with a contract manufacturer right now, or you take care of the entire R&D to manufacturing life cycle?
We take care of the entire R&D to manufacturing. Of course, there are some parts where we take help from outside, like the PCB fabrication or something, because to scale, you need to put your money at the right point, at the right machinery, right? So if something can be done outsourced, you just do that. Most of the manufacturing happens in-house.
Got it. And do you have a facility here in Bangalore itself?
Yes, we do have a facility in Bangalore.
Got it. Interesting. We talked a little bit about Operation Sindoor. Curious to know, did any of your products see action during that phase?
Okay, so we have all heard about loitering munitions.
Yes.
So of course our products saw action. I will not be able to get into too much details for the security reasons, but yes, the word loiter munition got a hype after that, and yes, our systems were used, and that's when we realized that we can do it, because your system can. I usually believe that defense designs are never validated in a boardroom. They're always validated in a battlefield. So once they get deployed, you get the power and the energy that yes, your systems could do it.
Operation Sindoor was a watershed moment in India's defense history, defense landscape. A lot of procurement momentum has happened post Sindoor. For you as an entrepreneur, what does the post Sindoor landscape look like?
So if I talk about numbers, so whatever we projected for this year, in the first 2 months of the financial year, we could already achieve it.
Oh wow.
So if we talk about numbers, yes, it has given us a lot of traction, and as you must have read some in the news also, that government has given a go ahead for the emergency procurement to the Indian Armed Forces, capping at 40,000 crore. So every day emergency procurement is happening, and the contract procurement time has also decreased to 40 days.
That's one of the reasons we are speaking now, otherwise we would have spoken maybe a couple of weeks.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So so the contract timelines have also decreased to 40 days and deliveries within a year. So everything is going on a really fast track process. So because the government is also putting in a lot of effort to have this strategic evolution
Right.
to make India self-reliant. Yes.
Fascinating. Priyanka, tell me something. As a first-time entrepreneur in the defense tech space, you are in an environment which has been traditionally male-dominated. Has that ever been a challenge for you as you look at scaling the company?
Of course, yes. So when I talk about the challenges, not like because now we are living in a very progressive era, right? But yes, somewhere still those challenges are there, which, you know, earlier when I used to enter some of the boardrooms and, you know, they used to wait, okay, that somebody else might be coming. So I used to say, okay, we can start the meeting. They said, okay,
Right.
is your male co-founder joining? I said, okay, having co-founder is perfectly fine, but why is it like a male co-founder is required? You know, specifically there can be 2 female co-founders, there can be 1 female co-founder. So anything like that is possible, right?
Right.
So then I had to remind them that okay, I've done this before, and this is my system, so it's completely okay, and we can go ahead. So yeah, there were some challenges which we had to face, but okay, everything is fine.
I've tracked some of your recent public appearances, and you are generally, from what I've seen, on most of these panels, you are the only woman representative in some sense. Is that an opportunity? Is that a challenge? How do you look at it?
See, it's a double-edged sword. It's both ways, you know, a coin has double sides to it.
Right.
So yes, of course, it's an opportunity for me to showcase that, you know, every female out there looking up to me, that it's a message that, you know, you are not less than anyone, and you can, of course, do it. And if I talk about the challenges, of course, there are challenges. To be there alone out there, and you know, you usually should have an idol somewhere that okay, you can look up to. In this case, I'm trying to find one person from the female background that I can really look up to, and you know, yeah, feel that way, that okay, you know, I want to become that.
Yeah.
But when I search internet all over, of course, in government there are a lot of female scientists, women scientists everywhere.
Yeah.
But if I talk about defense entrepreneurship, you do not come across a lot of names, and you know, that makes it a challenging situation as well. That okay, how to take this forward, and you know, am I going in a right direction, and everything is going fine. So yeah, it's both ways.
Hopefully you will be that person to a lot of young girls watching this podcast. We definitely need more, you know, definitely need a lot more women at the forefront of innovation, at the forefront of defense tech. But just coming back to some of the challenges that you mentioned, personally, I know at least a handful of VC firms who are cagey about investing in sole founder companies.
Right.
Companies that only have one founder, no co-founder. Have you encountered such biases in the past?
Yes, earlier whenever we used to get, you know, traction that, you know, they are looking to invest at us in our company, in Ammunic Systems, and then they used to ask about the co-founders. First, they were very mesmerized that me being a female founder, that's also a very nice point for them to really, you know, see that okay, someone like me is doing something. But at the same time, they would also ask that, you know, who's the other co-founder.
Right.
But in this case, there was no other co-founder because this is all, it was all started. Of course, I have my mentors who are guiding me through this.
Right.
And I'll always be really grateful to them. But in the boardroom, I was the only person always. That was always a challenge to us, yes, of course.
On trials, I actually remember reading somewhere that the army is now contemplating having standard trial centers.
Correct. Yeah.
Which means, as you said, you know, you go and present to a user, user gives feedback, you bring that feedback back to your center, iterate on the product, come back again, showcase. To my mind, if this thing takes off, it's going to be a big game changer for MSMEs.
100%. Right? I agree. It's going to be a game changer in the sense because for small startups or MSMEs, you know, just coping up with the procurement and trials is a very big challenge.
Right.
It's kind of a very big bottleneck, you know, that the fragmented and repetitive trials because every command wants the trial in their own command.
Correct. In their controlled environment.
In their controlled environment, and you know, the timelines vary, and then okay, this time you're going to this place and this time you're going to this place. So of course, by the time you're done with all of the trials, and you might get orders as well from these trials, but till the time you complete all the trials, your technology is already a generation old.
Right,
So
right.
this standard trial room will, yes, of course, give you an opportunity that one set of trial, one feedback loop, and any MSME can go there and give their trial. It's gonna be a game changer.
What has been your most exciting, most fulfilling project as an entrepreneur? I remember once hearing someone who said there are two kinds of projects I do. One that make me a lot of money, and one that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Correct, correct.
So for you, what has been that most satisfactory moment or one project that you are super proud of?
Okay, so picking up one product will not do justice to the others, but okay, to answer your question, so for me, who's giving you money and excitement is one product. So it's basically loiter munition, as
Right.
we all are hearing about it. So when we were making it for the first time, I had second thoughts that how it is going to be, because we had aligned with one of the drone companies and we were making for it, and then I was like, okay, this is just one use of it, where we are going to use it. But eventually I just realized that we were the only ones, or in the startup domain or the MSME domain, that who were weaponizing the systems like that.
Right.
And there were, if you talk about drone companies, no offense, but there are thousands or lakhs of drone companies who are making drones, and they obviously want weapons, to make their drones into a loiter munition. So in that sense, or not just loiter munitions, or a gravity drop munition also. So if I talk about gravity drop munition, it's basically a drone dropped bomb. So your drone does not get destroyed. In loiter munition, it's basically a suicidal drone. It goes and hits itself.
Right,
so even the drone gets destroyed. So that was the most exciting part of it, and incorporating more and more user feedback into it. That once we just made an impact based fuse, that okay, fine, once it goes impacts, it hits it, it'll do its job. But then we got a user feedback that what if the battlefield is really densely populated with the trees? It will hit the tree, and then what?
Urban
next?
warfare.
Yeah. So basically then, okay, we incorporated, height of burst method, proximity fuse. So what will happen is the user can set, okay, according to wherever they're using the product, they can set it up that, okay, from the bottom they want 3 meters height of burst. So it will be enough to, do its job. So yes, situations like those and moments like those were very exciting, where we got the user feedback, we kept iterating our product, and we got into various variants of the loiter munition and the munitions.
For defense tech, there is no readily available talent pool as such.
Correct.
You have to pick from either the forces or from PSUs or from core tech background. And the kind of skills that you need, because you are solving for the nation, margin for error is very low.
Correct.
The kind of skills that you need and the kind of iterative mindset that people who enter defense tech need to have is, to my mind, of a very different level. How do you get that kind of a right fitment when you are hiring for people?
So it's basically, whenever you're hiring, you cannot get everything in one person until and unless you are really hiring a trained person who has worked in another defense or an aerospace company and who knows what they are doing, right? So there are different kinds of posts. So once, if you're hiring for a senior post, of course you need to have someone with a background in defense so that they can understand your product and what goes behind it. But if I talk about the junior posts, we do not just hire people with some kind of a background in defense, because that's not needed at the junior post. So but we can really tell them, or frame them in our own company with our mindset. So we can train them. We have certain training classes and with particular things. The most important point is how do they perform under pressure, and how much integrity they have in themselves, how much purpose they have in themselves. So that's all which is required. We are there to train them, right?
I've seen a lot of your recent LinkedIn posts. You are putting it out there that, hey, we are open to hiring, we want more people, we want the right fitment. So that's great to see. But over a period of time, do you think government support is also needed to develop that kind of talent pool in India?
Of course, of course. So we need a lot of vocational training for that matter, or to have our educational policy framework in a set in a type that we're not just learning on the book front, okay, they're just reading the text and text and text, but they have to be applying it to the practical phase as well. So if I talk about government reforms, they're already doing, and there's a lot of ITIs which are opening, so there you just get to do the technical part of it, you learn technical part of whatever your true talent is. So yes, government is doing, and we need more training projects like that, where we can train our workforce, even from the grassroots level, where they can be put it directly into the companies like ours, where they are required. So yes.
Interesting. Shifting gears and putting the spotlight on Priyanka, the entrepreneur. What keeps you awake at night?
See, as a founder, there are many tough decisions you have to make every day. So everything keeps you awake at night. But mostly what keeps me awake at night is that I am not just building a startup, I am building the nation, I'm building something for the nation. So that is one dream which does not let me sleep, and that keeps me awake on most of the nights, that okay, what we can do more, and what product we can develop, and how to do that. And there are sometimes tenders tied up where the procurement is not happening, or maybe it's delayed because of some reason. There are multiple factors which in a founder's mind keeps on going in a loop. So yes, there are challenges, but yes, majority of the part is that I see dream with the open eyes, that okay, what I can make more, and how we can make India self-reliant.
Great answer. But from an operational standpoint, what worries you the most about your journey right now and where the company is headed towards?
Okay. So as we talk about hiring, it is one in Bangalore especially, I feel, because there are so many startups opening every day, and there are a lot of opportunities. So people keep switching to hold a good workforce at your place, and to keep them motivated is one thing which really keeps me awake. That okay, you have to really show them that what is there out for them, and why do they need to stick to it, and even if you are paying them well, but still I don't want to hold off anyone that's saying okay, do not take that opportunity, or do not take that opportunity, but still to see the best out of what you are giving to them, that requires some time or some commitment to the company, right? Because they need to stay with us and see how it works. So keeping the workforce intact is one point, and the other is
especially in a city like Bangalore. Tech talent is always in huge demand.
Exactly. And the other thing is emergency procurement is going on every day. There's a new tender, and there are new paperworks, and every day you have to make new paper, new everywhere, new trials going on. So those are the things operationally they are keeping me awake.
Understood. I remember speaking to a founder several years back. I think this was Anant Narayanan, former CEO of Myntra.
Correct.
Later on went on to start Mensa brands, if I'm not mistaken. He said that every day as a founder I have to take maybe 10 big decisions. If I get 7 or 8 of them right, I've had a good day.
That's a very good day. 100% a very good day. So that happens. Correct.
Who do you turn to as a sole founder when you get stuck? When you have multiple choices in front of you? Do you rely on numbers? Do you rely on data? Do you rely on people? What's your go-to mechanism for decision making?
See, I feel numbers are important, but I feel I personally rely on people more than numbers, because you can get the numbers right whenever there's a right time. You need to have been in the right mindset, and you need to be taking a right decision for that particular moment, because there's never a right decision eventually. So at the moment, what is required, that is the right decision you make. So I eventually turn back to people like my father, my husband, or I have mentors, who give me advice that, okay, as an entrepreneur, what I should be doing, and how I should be doing it, and what I should be looking at it. And apart from entrepreneur, I'm also a mother, I'm also a daughter, a wife, so there are a lot of roles which are aligned, so you need to have a work-life balance as well. So everything keeps rolling, and every day there's a new day, new set of questions which you need to look at.
Interesting. Work-life balance is always an interesting moot point in an entrepreneur's life. Is that even possible, work-life balance, or is the best you can aspire for is work-life integration or work-life harmony?
See, work-life balance as a theory, I feel 50-50 is never a thing that okay, you can have a perfect work-life balance. It's never that, because your family is also important and your work is also your child. So I feel Ammunic System is my child, and my own child, both of them requires time. So it depends which day which person, or Ammunic System requires more of my time, or my own family requires. So that's how I balance. So it's never a thing that okay, if it's 6 o'clock now I need to go home, and there should be perfect work-life balance. It depends what requires my attention more.
You can't have 50-50 every day.
You cannot.
Some days work takes preponderance, some days family takes precedence.
So that's how you have to maneuver your system.
Awesome. What would be your top advice to young women who want to do something in the defense space?
Okay, just believe in yourself, and do not build for the brochures. Build a product, and do not wait for a perfect product to be built. Just go with the flow, take the user feedback, because build with the user in mind. That has always been our USP at Ammunic Systems, that we have always seen user feedback as the major mindset of our building a system, because behind the desk we can build a very cool technology or something, but if it cannot be deployed in the field, it does not matter in defense. Right. So with that matter, and you need to stay focused and patience, because credibility in defense is not gifted, it's earned. You need to stay focused and patient, and eventually just think from the point of view that you are building for the nation, and you are building something that will outlast you, and you're building for the nation. So just do not try to make a perfect product. A product is never perfect.
Correct.
Right. So from that perspective, just keep going.
Just go from 0 to 1.
Yes.
Don't think about the
small
1 to 10
wins,
journey.
Small wins in defense actually compound faster than big promises.
Wow, that's a good line. I think on that note, we can conclude today's conversation.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. It was very enlightening and elucidating. And folks, if this episode resonates with you, do like, share, comment, and we shall be back again with yet another Defencepreneur story.